I'm Stephanie, and a few years ago, I was Sephora Rouge. Today, I'm not, despite the fact that I probably love makeup now more than ever. I'm going to tell you exactly why I quit and why you might want to consider it too. Because I realized that loyalty programs aren't designed to reward loyalty like I thought they were. They're designed to manufacture loyalty. And the people who participate most religiously, scanning cards and chasing points and hitting spending thresholds, are often paying more than the random shopper who just buys wherever's cheapest. We've been taught that loyalty gets rewarded, but when it comes to shopper loyalty programs, the math often tells a different story. And today we're going to look at that math together to figure out if they're actually working for you or if you're working for them. By the way, if you're new here, welcome. This is part of my weekly series, the Adagio Sessions. I'm a musician, and in music, Adagio means slow and with feeling, and that's how I try to approach beauty nowadays, slowing down and actually taking the time to enjoy the things that I choose to buy instead of always looking for something new. That shift completely changed how I think about loyalty programs, so let's take a look at how they really work. So if loyalty programs don't save us money, then why do they work so well? Well, the first psychological mechanism at play is something called the sunk cost fallacy. And if you've ever stayed in a bad relationship because you'd already invested so much time in it, or you finished a terrible meal because you paid for it, or you kept watching a really boring movie because you were already an hour in, you've experienced the sunk cost fallacy. It's the idea that once we've invested in something with time, money, effort, or emotional energy, we feel compelled to keep investing even when it stops making sense. Because walking away feels like admitting that we wasted that initial investment. And loyalty programs are built on this. Back when I was Rouge, I used to justify every purchase as part of my research. I told myself I was being smart, finding the best of the best, refining my collection, but really, I was just in what I now call points prison. Think about it. To participate in most loyalty programs, you have to give them something first. Your email address, your phone number, your purchasing history, you download their app, you scan your card every single time. You give them permission to track your spending and then send you targeted offers. And the more you invest, money, points, progress towards the next tier, the harder it feels to walk away. Because walking away makes that progress feel wasted. And that's precisely the trap that I call points prison. And I say that with love because I've been there. Several years ago, during the holiday Sephora savings event, I remember sitting there pondering my cart, and I was so close to hitting the spending threshold for Rouge the following year. I just needed 1 or 2 more products, and I had the most torturous time deciding which ones to add because there were so many things that I wanted, but my budget was screaming at me to stop, and I really just didn't need anything else. It was like a tug of war between my desire and my bank account and the points. And the wild part was that I wasn't even asking myself if I needed these things. I wasn't asking if they would bring value to my life. I was asking, which products can I justify adding so that I'll hit Rouge? That is points prison. When you stop asking, what do I actually need? And you start asking, what will maximize my points? You're not shopping based on your needs anymore. You're shopping based on a system designed to make you spend more. And it's not just beauty. This happens with grocery store rewards programs, credit card points, airline miles, coffee shop punch cards. Anywhere there's a loyalty program, there's a version of points prison. The grocery store sends you a coupon for something you don't normally buy, but hey, it's triple points this week. Or the credit card company offers bonus cash back in categories that you wouldn't typically spend in, so suddenly you're buying things to hit that bonus. Or the airline dangles elite status if you just take 2 more flights before the year ends, so you start looking for reasons to travel. And that's how these programs convince you that it's better not to price shop. Because instead of asking, what's the best deal right now, you ask, what will get me the most points? And once you're asking that, they've got you. But there's a second trick at work too, and it's even sneakier than the sunk cost fallacy. Before we crack it, I made a loyalty ledger that helps you do the math on any program, beauty, grocery, credit cards, all of it. Because sometimes seeing the numbers in black and white is the only way to know if a program really serves you. So if you want to go deeper with that, it's on Patreon, and I'll link it here and in the description. So now let's talk about the second psychological trick these programs use, the one that makes spending feel like entertainment. Gamification. Loyalty programs are designed exactly like video games. There are levels, there are achievements, there are rewards for hitting certain milestones, and just like in a game, the further you progress, the more invested you become in continuing. But there is a crucial difference. In a video game, you know you're playing a game. You're making a conscious decision to engage with a system that's designed to entertain you. But a loyalty program masquerades as something practical, something that helps you save money, when really it's designed to make you spend more. These programs always have tiers. Spend $500 to go silver, spend $1,000 to hit gold, spend $2,000 for platinum, and every tier comes with slightly better perks, slightly better rewards, slightly more validation that you've achieved status. They're not rewarding your existing behavior. They're manipulating you into increasing your spending to hit their arbitrary thresholds. These are called spending accelerators in the marketing world, and they're designed specifically to make you buy stuff you don't need to unlock prizes that save you money that you wouldn't have even spent otherwise. Let me give you a concrete example. At Ulta Beauty, if you're a basic rewards member with no store credit card and no prior purchasing history, you earn 1 point per dollar spent. Simple enough. Then you can redeem those points towards a future purchase. Now, they have all sorts of special events with points multipliers, and if you reach higher spending tiers, then you earn more than 1 point per dollar. But let's keep things simple for my math-challenged brain. At the time of filming this, if you were to open a rewards account right now and go on a $500 shopping spree, your 500 points would be worth exactly $17.50, which is the equivalent of 3.5% cash back. That's better than a lot of credit cards out there. And if you genuinely need all of those things and you're going to use every single item, then yeah, the cash back is nice. But it's not really cash, is it? It's credit towards a future purchase, meaning that you have to make another purchase at Ulta to access it, even if their price isn't the best. You have to stay in the system, and you start wanting to stay in the system because once you've spent that $500 and reached platinum, every new dollar now earns 1.25 points instead of just 1 point. That means you'll hit that 1,000-point $50 reward after about $900 of total spending instead of $1,000. So you've saved $100, right? It feels like you're winning the game, but only because you're still playing it. Now, admittedly, this isn't a trap for everyone, because if you only ever buy what you were going to get anyway, point system be darned, then accumulating points over time can help. But for a lot of people, the higher reward becomes an incentive to spend more on things they weren't originally planning to get. They'll spend hundreds of extra dollars just to get $20 or $30 worth of rewards. Let me say that again. They spend hundreds of real dollars to get 20 or 30 reward dollars towards a future purchase. That's not even real money. In my book, that's not a win, but it is gamification working exactly as designed. The Sephora tier system is another perfect example. In North America, Sephora has 3 tiers: Insider, VIB, and Rouge. I am currently a lowly Insider, which means that during Sephora savings events, I only get 10% off, and only after the higher tiers have already had their chance to shop. So often, the most popular products are sold out by the time I get access. And to be honest, I haven't been interested in a Sephora savings event in years, because that 10% discount on the leftovers isn't enough to make a sale seem worth it. There are just much better deals out there, and I am a deal diva. If you want to know what that and the other sale shopping types are, then check out this video here. If I wanted to reach the next tier, VIB, which stands for... Do you even know what it stands for? I need to look this up. Okay, it stands for Very Important Beauty Insider. So wouldn't VIB technically be VB? Very Important Beauty Insider? I feel like if they called it VB, I would be way more motivated to reach it just so I could say, hey, I'm a VB. Sephora missed out on a massive marketing opportunity here. Okay, but I digress. So if I wanted to reach that tier, I would need to spend $350 in a calendar year, which is pretty easy to do if you enjoy prestige beauty. A couple of skincare products, a foundation, maybe a new fragrance, and boom, you're there. If I became a VB, I'm committed to that term now, I would get 15% off during sales instead of 10. not the best discount either. So to hit Rouge, the top tier, I would need to spend $1,000 in a year, and then I would get 20% off and first access to sales. Back when I was Rouge, that felt worth it, but this was also years ago when prestige makeup rarely went on sale anywhere, so a 20% discount felt really significant. But what I didn't realize at the time was that I was spending more money maintaining my Rouge status than I was ever saving during those sales. I would look at my account in October and think, oh, I'm only $200 away from Rouge status next year, so I should stock up during this sale. And then I would add things to my cart that I didn't need right then, probably wouldn't use for months, just to hit that threshold. I was chasing a status that gave me the ability to save money by spending money that I wouldn't have spent otherwise. And that makes no sense. It's circular logic, but when you're in it, it feels perfectly reasonable. So here's what I would suggest doing, because I did it myself and the results can be eye-opening. If you're currently participating in a loyalty program, any loyalty program, beauty or otherwise, pull up your purchase history and look up everything you bought in the past year. If you don't pass out from shock or horror, which I probably would have done back in my over-purchasing days, then ask yourself, how many of those purchases were things that you would have bought anyway, regardless of points or status? And how many items did you add to your cart under the guise of maximizing rewards or hitting the next tier or, but this is triple points this week? And if you want to take it even further, you can ask yourself if you really got the best prices for those items or if the loyalty program prevented you from shopping around. If you would have purchased everything from that store anyway, then that's great because it means the program is genuinely working for you. You're getting rewarded for spending that you were going to do regardless, and that is the dream scenario. But if you notice that there is a suspicious amount of splurging going on, if you're seeing purchases that you justified with points logic rather than need logic, then you might want to reconsider how much your status is actually helping you versus how much unnecessary spending it's triggering. Because here's the thing, there is nothing wrong with participating in a loyalty program that gives you concrete benefits. But the only way to truly know if it's worth it is to do the math. Not the emotional math, the feelings of being Rouge or Platinum or the rush of a sales event, the actual math, dollars in and dollars saved. And sometimes when you do that math, you realize that you were spending to save, which is not the same thing as saving. I'm curious, are you currently Rouge at Sephora or Platinum at Ulta or Diamond at Ulta? I'm not even sure what the tiers are, honestly. But if you used to be at a higher tier and then dropped down, why did you make that decision? Was it intentional or did you just naturally stop spending as much? Or, and this might be fun, what's the weirdest thing you've ever bought just to get points or hit a spending threshold? Because I know I'm not the only one who's done this, so let me know in the comments. If you want to know mine, it was little tiny Q-tips to remove makeup. And I have to admit that purchase ended up being awesome because they were great, but it was definitely something I didn't think that I needed at the time. So let's bring this full circle. Loyalty programs are not inherently evil. They're marketing tools, and just like any tool, they can work for you or against you depending on how you use them. The problem is that most of us never really stop to ask whether they're actually working for us. We just participate because it feels like we'd be foolish not to. Free points, exclusive access, special status, who would say no to that? But free isn't free if it costs you more than you're getting back, and exclusive access to spend money isn't actually a privilege. The companies running these programs have done the math. They know exactly how much they need you to spend and exactly what psychological levers to pull to make these programs wildly profitable for them. The question is, have you done your math? Do you know if it's profitable for you? Here's what I would suggest you try this week. Pick one loyalty program, just one. It could be your beauty rewards program or grocery store card, your coffee shop app, your credit card point system, whatever one you use most frequently. And I want you to calculate 3 numbers. 1, how much you spent in that program last year. 2, how much you saved through discounts, rewards, or cashback. And 3, how much you estimate that you spent just to maximize points or hit a tier. Write those numbers down, look at them, and then decide if the relationship is balanced. Because loyalty should be mutual. If you're loyal to a brand, that brand should be giving you real value in return. Not just the illusion of value, not just the feeling of status, real, tangible, mathematical value. And if the math doesn't work out, you're allowed to quit. Remember that sunk cost fallacy? You don't have to stick with it. You're allowed to just shop wherever has the best price on the thing you actually need when you actually need it. You're allowed to ignore your points balance and your tier status and just be a regular customer who buys things wherever. I quit being Rouge and you know what happened? Nothing bad. I didn't lose anything important. I just stopped spending money that I didn't need to spend chasing rewards that were costing me more than they were saving me. If that resonates with you, if you've been feeling that same tug of war that I felt, budget versus desire, need versus points optimization, then I hope this video gives you permission to step back and reassess. And if you're someone who's done the math and your loyalty program genuinely works for you, that is fantastic. Keep doing what you're doing, because this is not about abandoning all loyalty programs. It's about making sure that they're serving you and not the other way around. If this video was helpful and you enjoy beauty content that balances the thrill of the new with the down-to-earthiness of critical thinking, then like, comment, subscribe, and check out this video here if you want to see how my new reformed self thinks about shopping sales nowadays. Thanks for hanging out, and to my patrons and channel members, including my Adagio angels, for helping me make content like this possible. I hope we can all remember that even stumbling can be a form of moving forward. So let's stumble in style.